Welcome back to the Bears Film Room podcast. My name is Dave, co-host, cover the Bears for sportsmockery.com. Joined by my good friend, co-host, sportsmockery.com writer as well, Ficky. And we have our first off-season podcast, and it's a little sad to say. We were prepping for it. And it's a little disheartening. I'm seeing the playoffs continue. You're seeing the teams, prepare for the NFC and AFC championship games, and it's like, dang, the Bears are very, very close. And so it's been a weird week. I've been kind of offline just a little bit. I'm sure many people have as well. But before we hop into our show today, which is going to be a lot of fun, first of all, just kind of outline it. We have a Chicago Bears mock off season. We're going to do a lot of these throughout the next few months. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're excited about the offseason, or are you not sure what to kind of look for, I think this is going to be a really fun episode for you. And like I said, it'll be one of many. So this one is called Controlled Aggression. Shout out to Eric Lambert as well, sportsmockery.com writer. He kind of put this one together. Me and Fick are working on our first mock off seasons, but we're going to start with this one. But before we hop into that, Fick, how are we doing? Obviously, you're a national champion, IU.
Let's go. Yeah, that was
with the off season so far.
Yeah, it was interesting, right? Because I told you it was basically these past 2 weekends were the biggest weekends of my sports life, because it was IU in the Peach Bowl, which I went to here in Atlanta, and then that followed up with obviously the Bears-Packers biggest playoff game in nearly a decade plus. Then this week, right, or the last weekend was, again, it was flipped now. The Bears then played the Rams first, and that game went to overtime, crazy loss. I was devastated. And then IU played their closest game all season, other than the Penn State game, in the national championship, and that game was crazy. So a perfect way to top off the season. So I was super excited about that, but then obviously super devastated about the Bears. So it's been a weird week because I'm not excited to watch NFL football, which is normally not the case, right? Even if it's not a Bears game, I kind of like to watch the other games, but I'm just like constantly reminded that the Bears should be playing. So not excited about that. But then also this week, I've been spending 10 plus hours a day watching IU national championship edits. So I'm in a weird spot, but things could be worse, but I was hoping that we'd have a better result from last week. But like we've talked about, if you haven't seen our post-game podcast, I'd check that out. The future looks bright, so I'm definitely hopeful and excited for the offseason, but I think I'm still in that purgatory of playoff football is still here, and I'm not really excited about it because obviously the Bears aren't playing.
Yeah, no, that's well put. I'm in limbo where I'm excited to watch the NFL. I'm excited to watch the NFL on Sunday. No college or any football today on Saturday is quite
weird.
It's sad. Yeah, it hits a little different, hits home. And I did not realize, you forget how long the NFL offseason is. And now we're about 2-3 weeks later than we typically started. Honestly, I don't think that's true, because the draft season typically starts around like November if you're a Bears fan, because the season's pretty much in the dumpster. But we went all the way through almost mid-January. So off-season might be a little shorter, but I just forget how long it truly is. But
did I lose?
That means we have a lot of content. Fick, are you there? May have lost Fick. He currently has, I think with the snowstorm and everything, he has a hotspot that he's been utilizing. Oh, there you go, Fick.
Yeah, I just disappeared.
I was explaining that with this snow and everything that's coming, there could be some connection issues. So he's hot spotting in. It's doing well right now. I want to answer a quick question here from one of our viewers on YouTube, cog.jack1. How long is this live, assuming today? We're going to go about an hour, I think. We're going to do this mock off season. We also have, we never reacted to press conferences. So between Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson, and I have a few clips that we're going to go ahead and play later in the show that I feel like were some of the high points and things that we can kind of discuss a little bit. And I thought they're both, I tweeted it, both those end of year press conferences were one of the best I've seen. And we've seen some crazy ones over the years with the Bears. And this one was the most calculated, felt aggressive, but optimistic, and there was a lot of leadership like qualities, and didn't throw a player under the bus, nothing like that. And
no
of
drama.
course Ben had no drama, and Ben had one of the best quotes that we'll get to later, so stay tuned for that. But and then of course we have the coaching staff that is getting kind of
poached
right now. Not yet. I think we lost obviously Eric Bieniemy, running backs coach. Shout out to him. He's going to KC as the OC.
Also, speaking on that, I mean, this kind of relates to the Bears, but that was like a quiet firing of Matt Nagy. He didn't get fired, but his contract ended, and so they didn't re-up him. They let him go, and immediately they don't interview anyone else. Andy Reid is like, get me back my guy that had our offense a top 5 unit. Like when they were humming on offense, is with Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator. And now Matt Nagy doesn't even have a head coaching job or an OC job. So speaking of being in limbo, but I just thought that was interesting. It wasn't really talked about, but they basically moved on from him. So, but yeah, that's the name of the season right now. You want to talk about drama, Dave? The coaching cycle and carousel in the NFL is
crazy.
And now what you're seeing, which I don't know if you saw this before, but people are taking jobs. But if there's another opportunity out there, they've told the team that they've accepted the contract for that they'll leave for that. An example, Mike McDaniel became the offensive coordinator for the Chargers. So glad he's not going to the Lions. So thank God on that. But if he gets a head coaching job, he said he will not then stick with the OC and he'll take the head coach, which makes sense. But it's weird because then it puts that team in such a, if he goes, you're kind of left not with much great options left. And it wasn't just him. It was someone else who did that as well. Brian Flores. He got an extension in Minnesota, which sucks because he's an amazing
coordinator. Could be traded, yeah.
Yeah, but if he gets a head coaching job, which I don't think will happen, he'll just leave. And so it's weird how, all these moving parts and the impact it has because, as you know, with the NFL, it's all about timing. Right? Because I'm sure if John Harbaugh knew that the Bills coach, Sean McDermott, was going to get fired, he probably would have went to go work with Josh Allen. But you don't know when that's going to happen, so you sign a 5-year deal with New York. So it's just interesting how all these pieces move, right? So I just think no drama for the Bears, but for the NFL in this coaching cycle, I feel like it's been the craziest in a while.
And thankfully, the Bears got Ben Johnson when they did last year, because it wasn't like this. It was a little chaotic, I remember. But really the first domino was just Ben Johnson. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? And then obviously after the Detroit playoff loss in the first round, he immediately started taking interviews and then signed with Chicago, 2 days later. So
I think he was the second hiring. I think Vrabel was first, and then Ben Johnson was locked in right after that. So it's good that it happened early.
Really? I thought Ben was first.
I thought
the Patriots were waiting.
Were they waiting? Maybe it could be. Anyways,
I don't know. I can't remember.
Those were the first two. Those were the first two.
Yeah.
So I was fine with that. We didn't have to wait out to be like, who is it going to be? Who is it going to be? Who's it going to be? It was pretty within a week, I think, maybe 2 weeks, which is pretty quick in the NFL. But
it was. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, I'm seeing some already in the chat. Throw them in there. We'll go ahead and answer them throughout the show. And if we don't get to it right away, it will be answered at the end of the show. So we'll star them. I do want to bring up one real quick. Black Rain 7920. Vic, answer this. Will Indiana football ever win again?
I don't even care. They won once. To come from, it's the same light of how I feel the Bears. The Indiana situation was definitely worse than the Bears. The Bears have more of a winning history. They at least have a Super Bowl. They had winning season in 1980 and the 1980s, and they also went to a Super Bowl in 06 during our lifetime. So they've had small pockets of success, right? And if you go all the way back to, when the NFL was first started, they won tons of world championships from 1920 to 1940, okay? So their history shows that they've had some sort of success. Indiana football, before Cignetti got there 2 years ago, had the most losses in college football history. That means they weren't, bottom 5, bottom 10. No, they were the most losingest program in in college football history. So the fact that they even won a championship in the way that they did Like we strive as Bears fans to just have a championship in our lifetime. That's the exact same way I feel with IU. If they never win one again, I mean, would I be disappointed? Sure. But the fact that they even got one, when if you'd have asked me 3 years ago, I'd be like, they're never getting one in my lifetime. So if they never win one again, that's totally fine. But guess what? They won one, and that's all I care about. So
it reminds me of really the Bears, if they ever win one.
Yeah, would you be mad if they didn't
one
win
is
another?
enough? Obviously, Caleb and company, they want more, but or Caleb, he wants more than just one, but that's hard to do in this league, obviously. So,
well, think about
I just
this,
thought
man.
that was a
no, I love that. I love the comments.
funny
too.
comment.
I was pissing off some Bears fans.
I think it'd be good for a while.
Fans. Well, they have.
There's a lot of them.
They had the number 2 transfer portal this year. They're bringing in the TCU quarterback Josh.
They bought a championship.
Who is better than Fernando was coming
kidding,
in. So, no, but look, there's money involved.
I thought you were
no, there's money involved.
I just keep hearing that storyline. I'm like, who cares?
I don't care. I think it's great for the sport. Just like how, let's look at it to the NFL too, because I think there's some comparisons here. Mm-hmm. People are really excited about the playoffs. The playoff numbers have been really high this year because of what? It seems like there's a bunch of new teams that have a chance to win a championship. Okay.
Right.
Typically you have your same guys. It's always Kansas City recently. Before that, it was, the Patriots, even though the Patriots are into this one, but now you have teams like the Bears made it. Oh, the Jaguars made it. You know what I mean? The Broncos are back at it again. Right. There's new opportunities for teams that normally aren't at the top to win it. And it creates parity. And people love that because now fan bases, more fans of the NFL feel like their team has a chance. We're seeing that in college football right now. And I think it's great because now you're seeing it's not always your Michigan, your Ohio State, your Georgia, Alabama. Like they'll still be up there. But IU winning this now gives hope that it can be Nebraska next year or, Wyoming the following year. Right. So I think that's good for the sport overall because now you don't always have the same guys going at the top. IU won this year, and they're the first time national championship winner, non-repeat, in the past 40 years. So that means over the past 40 years, every championship has been from a team that's won at least one before, right? So it's just rinse and repeat. And if I'm a fan of a team where I'm like, we don't really have a chance, it doesn't really elevate the sport like that because you already know that there's no light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm happy for that. I like when the NFL has parity, you know what I mean? Not the same team winning over and over again. So I think it's good for the sport. Whether you like IU or not, I think overall the new change of college football is a positive in my opinion. Plus players are getting paid, which they deserved. Yeah, shout out to OU. Yeah. There we go. Oklahoma, baby.
What's really funny is Isaiah, this comment here, he thought
that's Isaiah.
Thought OU was winning it all. Yeah, he thought he was winning. They thought OU was winning it all. I was like, I don't think so, man. I thought Ohio State.
Defense, yeah, go ahead.
I thought they were going to be tough. I thought IU obviously had a really good shot, but OU,
they were. Man. We only beat them by 3. Ohio State looked good, but that
could have been the championship game.
They got demolished by Miami, which was crazy. Yeah. That pick 6 really ruined it. But yeah, I think that's great for the sport, where everyone feels like they have a chance going in. I think it's good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yes, off-season is officially on in Chicago. We are, like I said, as far as Bears Film Room, the BFR pod, we go throughout the off-season about 4. We might ramp it up 6 episodes a month, maybe even 8, depending on, free agency and probably go a little bit more, have more episodes throughout, the draft and free agency. And then of course, training camp. So, but Fick, any other closing thoughts before we get to our mock off season?
No, I mean, it's just getting into the off-season mode. Once we get closer to the draft, I'll get more excited. I'm not going to lie.
I'm stoked about the draft.
I spent probably 2 hours this week watching YouTube videos on defensive tackles. So trying to get myself ready for some possibilities here. But I think once I kind of have a better understanding of the class, and same with you, Dave, I feel like we're going to get way more.
So you're leaning in defensive tackle so far, right? Instead of edge? With Austin Booker's presence?
It depends on kind of how the board falls, but there are, like, for example, if a lot of the top end DNs are taken early, which happens a lot in the first, there's going to be some really good defensive tackles are taken in the late first. And you see that year after year, some good defensive tackles kind of fall within that 20 to 25 range, 15 to 25. So we do have an opportunity to get the top tackle in the class at 25 if possible. You got to see how it falls. But
and the Bears are currently, you said it just now, they are drafting 25th in the first round. And then it goes Buffalo, San Francisco, Houston, and then the final four are not settled quite yet. So interesting stuff.
There's gonna be some good
25th, dude. If I would have told you the Bears start the season, they'd be drafting 25th in the first round with no trades, just their own pick. I mean, good Lord.
Yeah. Also, you'd probably be thinking of trade.
Can we talk about something? We didn't talk about this, I don't think, post game, not a lot of it, but if I would have told you the Bears sacked Matthew Stafford 4 times, you would have thought, yeah, that's probably a win, right? Probably winning that game. If you get to Stafford as much as the Bears did. I know they had to do it a little bit exotically with Gordon and I think Brisker, but Austin Booker's, I know he wasn't like top elite guy, but man, did he flash a lot in this season, and it's the consistency that we need. But we're gonna get into this mock, but I think the Bears defensive line, it's closer than we think. I think we're just missing, like you said, a true blue chip guy, where it's like, yeah, Montez Sweat is nice. We thought he was the blue chip, and he's really good, but I think he's going to be elevated if they can get somebody inside, or perhaps maybe I like Austin Booker, but if you get like a Max Crosby and you keep Sweat, oh my gosh, it doesn't matter really.
They need at least. Yeah, they need one blue chip if it's interior, exterior of that line.
And I'm kidding. Obviously, you need that interior to be. You need some
either
guys
or
to be able to make some noise.
You need more on the D line. I think that's the topic of the offseason. So I think that's definitely fair. But it's funny because if you would have said not only that, Dave, that the defense got 4 sacks, 3 1/2 on Stafford, and they held him to 0 touchdowns and under 200 passing yards, you go, oh, they win that game. You're telling me you held the MVP to under 200 yards?
That's what I'm saying.
And you sacked him 4 times? So, yeah, that defense went absolutely nuts. But before we get to the mock, though, let's go ahead and get to our first time
real quick
as well.
No, before we do, Vic, Trey Hendrickson, that's Cornell Bryant 947 on YouTube. I'm not sure if you've read this mock already. That's a little sneak peek. We're going to have to see if he's in here, but that's interesting. Good comment there. Okay.
Yeah, let's get to this first time out, though, because I'm excited to go over this mock off season. First off, thank you for watching the BFR Podcast, the #1 show for the fans by the fans. If this is your first time here, please like and subscribe, as it just helps our show grow and helps the algorithm get this show out to other awesome, amazing Bear fans like y'all as we're trying to grow this community. If this is your first time, also leave a hashtag #NewFaceGang in the chat. That's hashtag #NewFaceGang in the chat, and we'll give you a shout out before the end of the show. And if this is not your first time, this is your second time, you've watched over 100 episodes or anything in between, then you are a true OG, and we want to show you some love as well. So please leave a hashtag OG in the chat, and we'll make sure to give you a shout out before the end of the show. Thank y'all for all the support for the #1 show for the fans by the fans, the BFR Podcast. Now let's get back to the show. Absolutely. I'm super excited for this mock off season, by the way, because I have not seen it yet. So
these are one of my favorite off season pods. I know we're going to do quite a few. We have a lot of great content coming. So I, like you, Fick, I've read just a tidbit of it.
Okay.
Just to make sure that I was worthy of coming on the pod. Not that Eric doesn't write much, but again, you can check this out on sportsmockery.com. And we're going to go through it. And then before we do, I know we have about almost over 1,000, about 1,300 across all platforms. If you're on YouTube, however, if you can like that, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you want to be notified about when we're going live. Really appreciate that. I think we're nearing, how many are we at sub-wise, Fick?
Near 14.
We're getting close to 14,000. So continue to help out, support. We appreciate it. And let's go ahead and get this. Vic, I'm going to share my screen if you want to get the
Yeah, I got you.
The setups here. And I will, in the comments on YouTube, wherever you're watching, if you could just make sure, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here, make sure you guys can kind of read it all. Is this pretty good?
Yeah, I think so.
A little bit.
Yeah, that's probably good right there.
All right.
I don't want to see that last game. I don't want to see that last game little ticker on the side, though. I don't need a reminder of what happened, but
it's true. All right. again, how this works are for these type of episodes, we're going to go really an in-depth mock offseason of what the Bears are going to do. Obviously, as the offseason progresses, we go through, we get through the draft. We'll have different type of mocks at different periods. And obviously, this is one of the first ones we're doing, again, from Eric Lambert, sportsmockery.com. And you can check it out there if you want to read it. The link of this should be in the description as well. But to start, the new Chicago Bears 2026 mock-off season comes with better knowledge of how GM Ryan Poles and head coach Ben Johnson might be able to approach next March and April. For some time, it was felt they were hamstrung by salary cap constraints. In reality, there's more than enough wiggle room for this team to be aggressive if they wish. That's another thing I've seen. I'm sure you have on Twitter where it's like people screenshot the salary cap and where the Bears look. Yeah. They are fine, more than fine. And Eric obviously is 100% correct here.
Yeah, so they can actually, since 3 of their deals, like I think Jalen Johnson, Montez Sweat, Grady Jarrett, a lot of their deals are fully guaranteed and already paid out. So they can, what they can do with that is they can basically restructure those, turn some of that guaranteed into bonuses. And I think between like 3 or 4 players, they can free up nearly $32 million. So there's, the NFL, I don't think like the salary cap is a complete myth, but the idea of that you're always going to be constrained by it typically is a myth, because there's so many ways that you can restructure out of it, as long as you haven't been restructuring every season. Like sooner or later, it will catch up if you keep pushing it every year after year. But if your GM has been pretty good with, there you go. If you're, because we had like 70 million in dead cap the last year when Ryan Poles came in. But if you have handled your restructuring well,
essentially lost a full season because of Ryan Pace and pushing that money down. He could not do anything. He had to just eat money, and he couldn't bring in the talent when Justin Fields was your quarterback. But your Vic nailed that correct. Yeah. Another one is Trage. If you offload like a DJ Moore, you offload some of those guys. It's interesting. So
yeah, definitely ways to move the money around. And to be fair, Ryan Poles in the previous 2 seasons hasn't reconstructed tons of contracts. So they're still in a favorable place. I'd say a healthy place from a salary cap standpoint. And let's be real. Most times when you're good, you don't have a bunch of money because you have good players on your team you have to pay out. So this just aligns with that. So, you know what I mean? So I'm fine with it. We're not like in cap hell.
Absolutely. So let's continue going here. The trick is taking calculated swings on players they like without going overboard, essentially like free agency. You don't want to overspend if you don't have to. Now, free agency, that's really hard to do, but for sure, the Bears have quite a few free agents in the balance here. So here is a new version of how they could approach matters this offseason. So the latest Chicago Bears 2026 mocks offseason is about controlled aggression, and I really like that word. And I think the Bears this is probably the most accurate route they're going to go here. I think they're going to be aggressive, but not to the point where it's like, holy crap, Ryan Pace type moves and signings. But I think we're going to see some, not that all of this will come true, but I think there's going to be a lot of aggressive moves, probably 2 or 3, where it's like, the Bears are swinging. And I think we're going to get that feeling as it progresses. So the first big move here from Eric is wide receiver DJ Moore is sent to Buffalo for a 4th round pick. I'm going to go ahead and read this here, Vic. Moore's contract alone makes such a move something the Bears have to consider. His ongoing inconsistency on the field adds to it. Chicago has a lot of trade history with Buffalo. They sorely need another weapon for Josh Allen. Moore could be a good fit alongside Khalil Shakir. The Bears get a decent draft pick in return, along with $16 million in cap relief. I'm going to go ahead and leave that here, but I'm going to highlight it so we can see. I'll start, Vic, because moving DJ Moore. And there's a comment here. It says his ongoing inconsistency. And I understand that, but he made so many big time plays this year. And even in that final playoff game, some of the catches he did make were unbelievable, especially when you look at Rome, who couldn't make a simple, that first opening drive where it was right in his hands. It goes off. It's a drop. and he gets obviously smacked by a Rams defender. But that right there, DJ Moore, he catches that. I think we both agree on that. Of course, then you have the route issue where he just didn't run the correct route. I know it's been dissected. I'm not going to go into it about what happened there between Caleb, but I do love that one. Caleb Williams didn't throw him under the bus. The media kept on baiting him. Hey, DJ Moore, talk about it. He refused. Same with Ben Johnson. And shout out to both of those guys. That's the leadership that this Bears franchise has really been missing, in my opinion, because both of them got baited multiple times throughout the media at different times after the game. And no one, it was just like, they just took the high road. And I really, really appreciate it. I know DJ did too. And DJ hasn't spoke to the media, which he's very, very open. So it kind of shocks me. But I think he understands I think there's a lot of,
there's nothing good that come from it.
There's a risk.
To be honest. Yeah.
DJ could be back next year. So yeah, I think it was a mistake. I think there was a miscommunication. Ben said it was a new route that was in the offense that they had just began working on. It's not really an excuse, right? These guys are professionals. It happens. But we'll leave it at that. I don't know if I would want to move off DJ Moore because I feel like he is a big component in this offense. But the Bears have that luxury where they could lose DJ and you get, obviously more targets, because I think Luther Burden only had 34% of the target share. So that would skyrocket. But what are we thinking, Fick? 4th round pick. I don't think the pick or the value in the return from Buffalo is bad. I think a 4th rounder is actually pretty good. Of course, would love a 3rd. But
yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's two things you have to look at here: value of what you're getting back, contract, and 3 things, and production. So if we look at DJ Moore, production was a little bit down this year, but he still had like 700 yards or something like that. And to be fair, in Ben Johnson's offense, Caleb Williams talked about as well, he likes to get the ball to as many people as possible, right? They don't focus in on one person like Justin Fields did with DJ Moore because that was his only real option. Ben Johnson schemes people open based off disadvantages of the defense and what the defense is typically the tendencies it has there. So because of that, it's less about the person and more about the scheme, right? So because of that, DJ Moore didn't have 1,000 yards. I know that's what we really look for. So his production was down, but it's not like the man only had 300 yards. You know what I mean? He was still productive. And you said made some of the craziest, most clutch catches of this season. So there's the production we're looking at. When you're looking at the value, right, the contract value, he is expected to get $28 million next year. So it's not a cheap contract. So if you wanted to free up some cap space, that would definitely be a move. So I can understand why he would fall onto that trade category list. 3rd thing you want to look up is value back. When I'm looking at this trade, 4th rounder for DJ Moore does not seem high enough, in my opinion. Not expecting a 1st, not even expecting a 2nd, but if it's not a 3rd, I'm not doing it. If I'm going to make that risk of trading one of my star players, right? He is a star player. Superstar, that's a different question. He's a star player. He grades out as a top 20 wide receiver every year. If I'm willing to trade him, it has to be for a 3rd. And I'm actually thinking the front half of the 3rd. So this better be with a team that is in the front half. And the Bills are a team that are never in the front half of any draft because they have Josh Allen. So because of that, because of I don't like the value we're getting back, because I am still okay with his production, the contracts, it's definitely a lot. So if you wanted to use that as your reason to move off, I'd be okay. But since 2 out of 3 of them I'm saying no to, I got to say no to this trade overall. I still think there's a lot of value he brings. We have to remember this is a wide receiver that was his first time in this offense. Just like Caleb and just like a lot of these other guys, they're going to get better in their 2nd year. All right. So I don't think we've seen the best of DJ Moore. So because of that, I'm not getting rid of him. Also, you can never have too many weapons.
What would you said you don't like the compensation for a 4th rounder. What are you expecting? What would you
I would expect if you could
3rd?
Get a 2nd, that would be crazy. That would be a steal. If I'm not saying that's what you are going to get. That would probably be your ceiling. I think you need to be your median or higher needs to be near the 3rd round. But
DJ Moore is 28.
28. And wide receivers we're seeing.
Go ahead.
Yep,
sorry.
He'll be 29. He'll be 29. But we see wide receivers, a lot of the good time wide receivers don't really start to decline till about 31, 32. Look at Stephon Diggs, right? Stephon Diggs, people thought, wash, especially after the injury in Houston. And he's having himself a pretty good bounce back year. right? The good wide receivers who have been consistently good for a long time typically don't really fade off until the athletic ability really starts to go out the door, which is like, a little bit like older, 33, 34. You still got at least 3 years of a productive DJ Moore, and he's under contract for those 3 years, and you can get rid of him on the 4th. So because of all of that, it's not necessarily a necessity to trade DJ Moore. And if you're going to then trade him, it better damn be worth the value you are getting back, because you're losing a good player.
If you remember, DJ's contract too is actually relatively friendly. When he signed it, he was still, I think, 10th highest paid wide receiver at the time of that deal. Now, and that was at the beginning of Hard Knocks, I believe. Now it's like I think it's way lower in like 18th, 19th, 20th ranking as far as contracts go. It's still a really good value.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know if you're going to get anything higher than a 4th. I truly don't, but I would love that. Also, real quick, this was the yards and snaps. I wanted to go over this real quick because it kind of puts in perspective here. So Colston Loveland, 713 yards this year in the regular season. That's 61% snap share. That's 61% of the snaps. DJ Moore, 682 total yards. That's 85% of the snaps. Rome Odunze, 661. He only did 64% of the snaps. Luther Burden, this is where it's crazy, Fick. 652 total yards, 35% of the snaps. Yeah, so you can see that percentage where DJ had the highest, which credit to him. And this is what I love about some of these quotes here from the post end of year press conferences. Ben Johnson talked about how tough he is. And I think that's truly because it trickled down to every other player. It was like, oh, if DJ's playing, everyone else, they don't have an excuse. And I like that. Of course, there's a lot of other storylines with DJ, but I don't think he's a diva. I think there's plenty of receivers that have been,
I don't think so,
way more theatrical and negative and almost toxic in a locker room. He is absolutely, his teammates love him. He's awesome. I think he was a nominee for Walter Player of the Year
Walter
nominee.
Payton of the Year. Yes,
so
sure.
anyways,
also
this is a really crazy way to kick it off. So
best ability is availability, and he's on the field all the time. So injured or not, we talked about Rome, right? And I'm not digging Rome, but this year Rome had major injuries. This team could have been, something significantly different if Rome was healthy throughout. And DJ, every week you're like, oh man, he's going to be out, and he'd be suited up for the game. So I think it's and that's no disrespect to any people that get injury. All injuries are different. I'm not thinking that. Most part, I can't control it, right? I'm not saying that DJ's better just because he was on the field, but he's shown consistently through his tenure on the Bears and in Carolina that he's going to be available. So again, there's a lot of factors, in my opinion, that shift it towards him staying than getting rid of him. Now it's not as glaring as like 80% stay, 20% not, but it's definitely closer to 65 stay, 35 not. So I would need tons of value. It'd have to feel so worth it by what we get back. And I don't think a 4th round pick would do that for me personally.
Interesting.
But definitely
I'm kind of opposite. I think a 4th rounder, you get rid of that contract. I know it's not bad, but if you're making other moves, say you're bringing in an edge rusher, right? You're making a trade, offloading his $60 million in cap relief is going to be very, very critical for any type of big time trade that may be coming down the road.
True.
With that, depends. That was probably the longest section we'll stay on because DJ is a hot topic. And there's also a question in the chat, I think, about should we keep DJ Moore? So I think we kind of answered that one.
Yeah.
Who was that from? Maybe we can throw it up, Fick. I think you started. Anyways.
I'll look for it.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, right here from A Kayuchi, or I'm definitely butchering.
Yeah, 8657.
Yeah, I'm gonna say AK here. Would you guys want to keep DJ Moore or why? Mm-hmm. So definitely answer that one.
Answers that question. Absolutely. With that, we're going to go ahead and knock out a little bit more of this mock off season. We won't stay too long on a lot of these sections. This was just a heavier one, so it will progress, I promise. With that, though, make sure to hit that like button, and let's go ahead and take our second ad break, and we'll get right back to it.
Sounds good. All right, we're going to get back to the episode real quick, but I had to take a moment to pause and tell you about something awesome that we have cooking up over here at the BFR Podcast, and that is our Patreon membership. you can join our Patreon, the BFR Den, where we have a bunch of great exclusive stuff that happens monthly, like monthly giveaways, private Zoom calls, mailbag episodes, and much, much more to come. I mean, we've got tons of features in there. We've got 2 tiers. We have our top tier, which is $10 a month, our Hall of Fame tier. What comes with that, which is very exclusive, is our private Zoom calls with our members. So every month, you're going to get a private Zoom call with me, Dave, and Jack, and we just get to talk about whatever, shoot the shit, football, life. It's a wonderful time. And then if you want to go to the lower level, we have our Rookie Grizzly tier, which is $3 a month. And what that includes is like the private Discords, the monthly giveaways, the free merch, all the events if we have coming up, things like that, access to exclusive merch that's only for our Patreon members, and any other cool features. You'll get that at the $3 level tier. And then with the $10 level tier, you will get the private Zoom call as well. Now, you can join for free. We do post our monthly calendars in there, so you can kind of see what we have going on each month. And we post our episodes there as well. So if you want to join that ongoing community, which we keep building up, please do so at the BFR Den on Patreon. Also, as well, we give a shout out to all of our Patreon members every single episode that we do. So if you join, we'll make sure to show you some love on every episode as well. So again, you can join the BFR Den on Patreon at the BFR Den on Patreon. And we just love the support. You guys are great. Shout out to all our Patreon members, and let's get back to the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, DJ Moore is shipped off for a 4th rounder. Let's go ahead and move on to our cuts and restructures here. Oh, where'd it go? Okay, make sure I have it here. Okay, we have dealing with this cough.
No, I'm right there with you. Right there with you.
Yeah, I know the flu is running rapid. RSV, it's kind of crazy. So here's the cuts and restructures that we have for this offseason. Again, from sportsmockery.com, you can check out the article there. Montez Sweat, 1-year extension with void years to save $16 million. This is what we're talking about. The cap is just it's non-existent, honestly. You can always make some moves. I'm sorry, moving around here. Tremaine Edmonds released for $15 million. This is a big one, Fick. Saves a lot of money. And we'll get to that in a second. Well, let me just go through all of these restructures, and then we'll give our thoughts. Joe Tooney, conversion for $11.76 million. And then Karan Amagaji, released for $1 million. And that was a former 3rd-round pick, if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
Okay, let's go ahead and get back here. Let's start with Montez Sweat. 1-year extension with 4 years to save $16 million. I think we're both in the same boat. Very good move. Makes sense. Anything else on that?
Nope. Keep your best defensive lineman, please.
Yep. Now Montez, and then also that the cap space then you would be at $65 million with all of these moves. So now probably the more controversial to some, not to me, but Tremaine Edmonds released for $15 million in cap space savings. So overall, DeMarco Jackson, I think he is awesome. I think he is such an underrated player this year. The way that he stepped up, won obviously NFC Defensive Player of the Week. I think got the game ball twice in back-to-back weeks. And of course, Tremaine Edmonds, you paid him a lot of money, so he was on the field when he was healthy. But I think the speed, right, that he had and the ability that he has and the talent was so underrated. And Edmonds is good. He's obviously tall, made some big plays, and I think he was having a Pro Bowl season before he got hurt. That plays a big part.
Interceptions.
But man, for the money, this makes a lot of sense because you can kind of backfill it. So, Fick, what are your thoughts here?
So again, if you're going to look at production, and all right, we got to look at production, and then we got to look at contract. Contract makes sense. Contract makes sense why you'd want to cut him, 100%. If we look at production, though, like you said, before he got injured, man was leading the league in interceptions, 4 interceptions, playing really well. And DeMarco Jackson actually would be playing alongside him because DeMarco Jackson is now the Sam linebacker, the Sam linebacker, because we don't really run 3 linebackers that often, but he's doing the TJ Edwards position because if you remember in the beginning of the season, they decided to move Tremaine to the will, and that's where he started to ball out. So I think you can keep DeMarco. Obviously, I think you have to give an extension. I understand giving up $15 million, but who's your other linebacker? So you're telling me your linebackers are DeMarco Jackson, which look, great year this year for the amount of snaps he had. But who? I'm just saying, I would like to have at least one.
You got to remember, Fick, you can draft one.
No, but this goes my point. One. Yeah, you're gonna have to backfill it to some. You're gonna have to address it in free agency. I do not want both of my linebackers. Yeah, but then now you have no real veteran presence in that linebacker room.
T. Edwards?
He's going to be out for a good amount of time.
You don't think he's back?
Out to what the early. Sorry, my license changed. That means my Wi-Fi came back. But the TJ Edwards is probably going to be out till early season, right?
I would have to look at that. Yeah. Either way, you're right. But I just think
I can get it. I can get it. Because the money wise, I get it for the money wise. I 100% do, and I can get it. It's not a premier position. The linebacker isn't, but he was playing like really well the first half of the year. We can't take that away. It was just injuries.
And you could extend him. There's maybe other ways instead of just releasing him. But in this mock off season, this is what we're doing. And then so we'll move on. I don't want to go too long on that. Joe Tooney, easy. And then Karan Amagaji.
Sorry,
disappointing. But that puts you at 65 million in total cap space at this point.
So now, don't do that. If you don't do Tremaine, you're at 50 million. So I'm like, look, that's still. I know again, you don't get the full 15 million release, but that's still a lot of freed up cap. So, anyways, continue.
Okay, re-signings. Kevin Byard, 2-year deal, 15 million. That's a 3.84 million cap hit in 2026. And then you bring back Jaquan Brisker. So you're keeping your safeties, your 2 starting safeties. Brisker gets a 3-year deal for 30 million, 4.3 in million cap hit. Or I'm sorry, 4 million cap hit in 2026. We'll go through this together. We'll stop at that. You're bringing back your 2 safeties. I love Brisker. I don't know if that's the deal that he will take. I think he has a little bit more value on the open market. I know his injury history, right? But 3 years, 30 million. I'm doing that. He's a good player.
Yeah, he better not get more. He is 100%. Actually, both safeties, because of Kevin Byard's age, not his production, his age, and because of Jaquan Brisker's inconsistency, both of those need to be very team-friendly deals. If you're bringing them both back, I do not want to feel like we're over. Now, there might be a slight overpay, right? Just because it's, that's just how the nature of the beast is. But I better not walk away being like, you gave how much to Dio? You know what I mean? It can't be anything like that. Because Kevin Byard, look, all pro, looks great, but he's about to be, 33? So that's got to be a short deal. I'm fine with that. Jaquan Brisker had probably one of his best games in a Bears uniform in the playoff game. But there's definitely been plays where, there's definitely been games where he has kind of been present. And you have to take in the fact that Jaquan Brisker has also been injury prone due to those concussions. And concussions have a real high correlation of repeated injuries. So
the big thing I have an issue here with Eric and this projection is Harrison Smith, Viking safety, right? He's 37. He's getting average per year. He's getting on his deal. When he signed it, I think it was 2 years ago. So he was 35. He was averaging 10.2 million a year. The total value, it was a 1-year deal. So he got it last year. So it was 10.2 million. Total guaranteed was 8 million. Had a 2026 void year. With the season that Kevin Byard just had, man, I don't know if he's going for. I don't know if we can get him for that type of a steal. 2 years, 15.6. That's 8. That's under 8 million a year. I think he's probably going to be looking at 2025 for a 2. If you're talking about a 2-year deal, I think it's 2 years, 25 million.
I wonder what Spotrac had it as, but I can look that up.
This is what I have it actually pulled up.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, OTC. So OTC has
same thing.
Like his projection.
Yeah, his projection for this offseason.
Oh, I don't have his projection. I was just looking at like the top safety. So like average per year. So Kyle Hamilton, he's getting 25 million a year. And if you go down about, Xavier McKinney for the Packers, he's getting 16.7 million a year. And he's 27. And then you go down a little bit more. Let's go to Grant Delpit, the Brown safety. He's getting 12 million a year. So I'm just saying with an all-pro season, like he's an all-pro player. And I know he's a little bit older, but I think he's got 3 more years potentially of high level, if not elite safety play.
Well, so funny enough, this is for Spotrac. I haven't checked it OTC,
what's his
but
projection?
they actually have him for about 16. So they have him for 8 million.
So it's average. Hey, Eric does his stuff. I just don't think that's realistic.
I'm actually shocked. Maybe it's front loaded. Maybe it's like he gets 10 next year, and then 10 to 12 in his first year, and then his second year.
But do you really think he's going to take that? You don't think he's earned more? His market?
I think he wants to stay here, so maybe there is. I think he said in his his exit interviews that he hasn't been on a lot of winning teams, and he's excited because of the quarterback they have here. So maybe. Money does talk, but maybe
20
get him here. That's possible. I can see it.
Minimum. That's just my
look. I wouldn't. How about this? I wouldn't be shocked. I'm not gonna be shocked with that at all. Anything from 15 to 20 is probably fair. I'm not doing more than 20 though, just because of his age. He's been really good, but just the age is a concern.
Makes sense. Okay, let us know in the comments what you guys think with Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker. If those are something you would do, if those deals look realistic, just give us your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear them. So moving on, DeMarco Jackson, we just talked about him. He gets a 1-year deal for $1.3 million.
Yep.
That's a hell of a steal.
Yep.
Dominique Robinson, 1 year, $1.3 million.
Yes.
Jonathan Owens, safety, 1-year deal for $1.26 million. Daniel Hardy comes back, 1-year deal for $1.26 million. Noah Sewell, that injury, it's tough. 1-year deal for $1.26 million. Durham Smythe, tight end, 1-year deal for $1 million. Jordan McFadden, who did relatively well in that playoff start at right guard, 1-year deal for $1.07 million. Scott Daly, 1-year deal for $1 million essentially. Theo Benedict, he comes back, 1-year deal for $1 million, and then you get Case Keenum, 1-year deal for $885,000. Bring him back as just another guy in the room. And here's the snippet from Eric again on sportsmockery.com. The Bears can keep their safety room intact without breaking the bank. With Edmonds out of the picture, keeping Jackson as your new starter at middle linebacker makes plenty of sense. That will allow TJ Edwards to shift back to his natural outside spot. And else provides quality, affordable depth, or special teams help.
So here's my thing on all of those.
And lastly, Fick, apologize. That would leave you
good.
guys at 48. The Bears would be cap space would be at $48 million. Heading into free agency, which you can see the next moves here, and we'll get to that here in a second. But overall thoughts, what were you saying, Fick?
All of those deals, 1-year deals, deserving. I think those are all. I literally had nothing wrong with any of those people. All of those have played some sort of substantial snaps, minus Case Keenum, but we know what he's been in the locker room. So I think I'm cool with bringing everyone back. Can you go back to it for a second, if you don't mind? I think there was one thing on there I wanted to take a look at. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I'm good with literally all of those. Those are perfectly fine. I guess the biggest, really out of the off-season moves, not counting the draft and free agency, I think the biggest question mark is the Tremaine Edmonds, because that has the biggest impact financially, and it also leaves probably your biggest hole, I would say, in my opinion. So that one's gonna be interesting, because if you move on from Tremaine, which I can understand from a contract standpoint, DeMarco comes in to kind of fill his role. TJ goes back to his spot, which is fair, but TJ also just coming off a pretty bad injury. So, you know what I mean? It's the depth is low there. I know you now have Noah coming back. I know it's rare,
but they could release him and then maybe work on a new deal. Say Tremaine's like, I really want to come back. I doubt it, but it's possible. But I think you can fill that position. I do.
If you restructure it, then sure. That's basically a restructuring, right? They do an extension with the restructure. That's what they would need to do. So, yeah, the money, I don't want to see Tremaine go because I think he is impactful. It's just that we paid him a lot. So, it'll be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see. Let me see. Is there anything on here? Yeah, bring back DeMarco. Dom Rob actually had some good plays, especially in like the interior. I feel like he made more plays than the outside. Excuse me. Jonathan Owens, bring him back. Special teams help there. Daniel Hardy made some plays this year, so definitely bring him back. Noah Sewell, definitely. You need that depth in that linebacker room, especially if you're not bringing back Tremaine. You need Durham Smythe, who actually was in 13 personnel quite a bit, so definitely bring him back. Jordan McFadden, we saw that he did a serviceable job as the guard, so definitely bring him back, though he was limited on snaps because Joe Tooney did not get injured. Scott Daly, definitely bring him back. That's your long snapper. Theo Benedict, yep, we definitely got to bring him back. He played a good amount. 1 year's crazy. Only $1 million for the type of production we got from him. And then Case Keenum, definitely need to bring him back. There is no question at all about that. But let me know in the chat while Dave is out if there are any players on this list that you feel are not worthy of a contract extension. Is there anyone on here you don't want to bring back? That's my real question. I'm going to read some of these comments too. He said, I would try to upgrade here from Jay Evans on YouTube. Said, I would try to upgrade a strong safety. No offense to Brisker, or Brisker takes some of a team-friendly deal. I could see that. Brisker has been inconsistent, but when he plays well, he looks like a top safety. He looks fantastic. And he's injury prone as well. Let's see here. Tony on YouTube said Monungai will get bulk of carries. I just need a twitchy backup running back. Interesting. We got jailbreak here with Swift was probably underutilized, stayed healthy though. He definitely did. I feel like the first half of the season, Swift was definitely not used in the correct way. But after that bye week, they figured him out. Then we got G right here. Said Swift will get all the targets in the air. I don't see that happening. Tony's got a good point. You can find a cheap running back. Oh, sorry. I figured you had to do something. So you're good.
Yeah.
No, you're good. Just reading some of these comments here. Let's see if there's any more. Yep, we got David here said let Brisker go. Tony said Dom Rob and Jonathan need to go. They're cheap deals. They're depth pieces. I think you should bring them back. Dom Rob actually made some plays this year from the interior. So, and then RB catcher here. Box safeties are a dime a dozen. His energy is awesome, but it doesn't validate $15 million contract. So, fair enough. Appreciate it.
Yeah, love those comments. Sorry about that. We had to just deal with something, but yeah, and I don't even know what the audio avatar. I think that's from the baseball sports mockery guys. I turned it off, but did you see my
that was first time.
avatar?
Yeah, that was first time. Yeah, it's funny.
I guess it takes on from the. We have obviously
account.
Sports Mockery has a baseball Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I think it's from them. So I was like, what was that?
Fun enough. All good.
Anyway,
you'd love this comment. You'd love this comment, Dave, from Tony. We need faster linebackers. I know you preach that, which I agree with. But
we need speed on the defense, and that's what Kyler Gordon. He looked healthy against the Rams, and you could see how that transformed really the defense overall.
For sure. All right, you want to get to our third timeout here before we finish up?
Yes.
Let's do that real quick. All right, before we close out the show, I got to tell you about some awesome stuff that we have cooked up on the BFRstore.com. As you can see here, we have hats, hoodies, mugs, stickers, a whole bunch of fire stuff, and we're always working on new creative designs. Maybe jerseys coming. Who knows? But you can check it all out at thebfrstore.com. All the proceeds from the merch store just goes back right into the show. And plus, we want to give you fire stuff because we want to look fly all the time. And we want y'all to look fly as well. So if you want to support the BFR show, go to the BFRstore.com. We appreciate all the love and support. Now let's get back to the show. Absolutely. Appreciate it. It's getting cold. So if you need to warm up this off season, we definitely got some fire hoodies in the merch store. So we really do appreciate it. thebfrstore.com. All right, Dave, let's get to my favorite part. Let's get to free agency and see what they have here for us.
Okay. Well, free agency again. Bears are at $48 million in cap space so far. Heading into free agency, they make 3 big moves. The first one being edge Trey Hendrickson, 2-year deal for $50 million, $9.9 million cap hit in 2026. That's a big one. And then left tackle Cam Robinson, 1-year deal for $13 million, $6 million cap hit in 2026. And then you get a defensive tackle, John Franklin Myers, 2-year deal for $15 million, $3.7 million cap hit in 2026. And then Eric says trading for Max Crosby sounds nice, but the price tag might be too much. Hendrickson has ties to Dennis Allen from their time in New Orleans together. When healthy, he remains a highly disruptive pass rusher. Pairing him with Montez Sweat and Austin Booker should give the Bears defense some juice, at least for a couple of seasons. Add Franklin Myers as an interior rusher, and you're cooking with gas. As for Robinson, he gives them so much needed dependability at left tackle, while Ozzie Trapillo rehabs. And Ozzie will likely, they put the timetable Ben did, the Bears likely won't see him till later into the season next year. So it's going to be a tough ask for him to come back and play at a high level. So I kind of like that stopgap. The big one is going to be Trey Hendrickson. We'll start with him, Fick, 2 years for $50 million. Let me pull up his age. I think he's 29, maybe 30.
No, he's 30, I think.
He's 31.
31. He'll be 30.
Yep.
He'll be 31 going into next season.
6'4", obviously really, really productive pass rusher.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
2 years, $50 million. I don't think that's bad at all. When you talk about the other options like trading for Max Crosby, which, man, has he talked about Caleb Williams a lot the last week.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's funny. Some of those clips you're seeing circulating on socials, he loves Caleb Williams, and that just obviously drives up the rumor mill. But Trey Hendrickson, I like it. Almost love it. What do you think here?
First off, Rogue Agent on YouTube. You can find this article on sportsmockery.com. You can look up 2026 mock offseason by Eric Lambert. And then Dave and I will have
controlled aggression. So yeah.
Yep. And Dave and I will have ours within the couple weeks. So, but
we'll have
going to your question, Trey Hendrickson, definitely like it better than Max Crosby. Max Crosby is probably the better player, but what you have to give up, no thank you.
Mm-hmm.
$50 million is a lot. That's definitely his market value. But if he's any sort of productive of what he was last year or the year before, definitely worth it. So if you're going to pull the trigger on a big player, go ahead. I like a free agent signing more than I do a trade. That's kind of how I feel on it. He's a good player. What was his numbers this year, actually? Let me take a look. It wasn't obviously, because he was injured for some of it, right?
He got injured. He had only 4 sacks, 11 tackles, 1 forced fumble. Now, this is coming up. So in 2024, so he played 7 games this year, had 4 sacks. Yeah. But if you remember, the last 2 years, he was at 17.5 sacks each season. Yeah. A lot of pressures. I mean, a lot. So
he PFF has
he's
him
on IR right now.
Yeah, PFF has him graded as the 6th best pass rush. Now his run grade isn't that good. It's actually pretty bad. But yeah, I mean, look, if
former 3rd round pick in 2017, and of course free agent, I think it's a good stopgap. If you don't get a deal done for Max Crosby or you don't get an edge that you like in the draft, pretty interesting. Okay, Cam Robinson. I love that deal.
I mean, the deal's fine. The deal's fine. Yeah, the deal's fine for 1 year. I wouldn't draft. I wouldn't draft one though. I just wouldn't spend big money unless you believe Ozzie's never going to be the same. Which is, I guess that there is that. There is the only problem.
That's what they have to think about.
Yeah, that injury.
So
is brutal. If it was like a shoulder or something, like nothing bad, but it was patella, and those are like.
Wouldn't it suck having to draft though a left tackle again in the second, or I mean, God forbid you have to do it in the first. I guess if someone falls and you really like them, and you don't have an edge or DT that you want, or that's not on your board, but that's the Ozzie injury that, I mean, it really it hurt you obviously going into the Rams game, but it really hurts heading into
the NFL. The NFL's what have you done? 100%. And the NFL's what have you done for me lately? So, and unfortunately, going into next year, it'll be like, what have you done for me lately, Ozzie? And that's nothing because you're injured. So that's why the NFL replacements happen quick. And I hope Ozzie, heals up and he is the future left tackle. I hope that, but
yeah,
that's not promised. Yeah, he for sure.
He still could be. Okay. After those moves, DT Franklin Myers, productive. Let me see here. Yeah, I like that one. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but I think the Bears still go through the draft. We'll get here now, or we'll go through the draft now. But you're sitting at $27.8 million in cap space heading into the draft. This is what Eric has first round. First round, TJ Parker, edge out of Clemson. Clemson has a track record for producing quality pass rushers in recent years. Parker didn't quite have the same year he did in 2024, but he's still a consistent presence for the Tigers. He has the size, length needed to hold the edge while displaying a good mix of power and finesse to beat blockers on the edge. He's not the most explosive in the world, but he's a good athlete who has the most or uses the most or makes the most of his gifts. I like that one. We'll get to all these. We'll go through them all together. Let me go through the draft. Yeah. Second round, Christian Miller, DT. You see a theme here going defensive, which I think that's obviously going to happen. The comparisons to Kenny Clark are well earned. Miller is a big defensive tackle who is surprisingly quick and athletic. While he doesn't produce much on the stat sheet, his ability to disrupt the interior gives opposing offenses fits. Blockers must always account for him or risk letting their game plans get ruined. The Bears really need somebody like that in the middle. Third round, this is a little bit of a surprise pick here, but it says Deion Burks, wide receiver out of Oklahoma. Ben Johnson loves two things, speed and yak. It's why the Bears drafted Luther Burden last year. Burks checks the same boxes. He's a versatile weapon who can win deep, take a short pass for a long gain. Teams will knock him for his shorter size, but creative coaches can turn him into a dangerous weapon. Fourth round, this is the one from the DJ Moore trade. So fourth rounder via Buffalo. DJ Campbell, guard out of Texas. Bears mock 2020 offseason would not end without some sort of offensive lineman investment. Campbell is a big guard with a mauling style in the run game and a good anchor and pass protection. Learning from Joe Thuney is never a bad thing. I love that. Fourth round, Bishop Fitzgerald, safety. Life after Kevin Byard must be on the Bears' minds. Fitzgerald certainly fits the same profile as an elite ball hawk. He has 10 interceptions over 3 years in college, demonstrating a strong range and terrific instincts. His size will be a frequent topic, which could limit his effectiveness against the run. Sorry here. Again,
Very good.
Being sick and I can't breathe sometimes. Okay, fifth round, Aiden Fisher. This is the linebacker pick we were talking about.
But this is, I don't think that's IU Aiden Fisher. He has Oklahoma. He must put the wrong team. That's IU.
Okay.
Number 4.
Well, hey, you're the IU expert.
Yeah. That's Aiden. I was like, no, that's Indiana. So, yeah.
The Bears tried the Bears tried the pure athleticism route with Hippolyte last year. It didn't work. This time they opt more for the proven production. Fisher has been a steady presence for the Sooners, showcasing a great mix of instincts, intelligence, leadership, and Hoosiers. Guys like him overachieve in the NFL. Seventh round will be real quick. Xavier Nwankpa, safety out of Iowa. And then seventh round, Jaron Kinnick out of Oklahoma. He's the tight end, 1 year wonder for Oklahoma. So those are the picks here. We'll go ahead and get back to, I guess, the first rounder. We do have our own mock drafts that we do at the BFR at Bears Film Room, and I love those. So those are coming. They are on the way, probably in the next few weeks. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and of course, follow the BFR on Twitter to get all notifications and to stay up to date when and what episodes coming out that week. But first round, TJ Parker, edge, Clemson. Overall thoughts on a pick like this?
I mean, yeah, that'd be great. People may not like to
high
hear
floor.
This is Montez Sweat. Not exact, but like you're talking about, not the craziest in the pass rush game, really solid against the run. His athleticism and his size and build is what's going to make him stand out. It's Montez Sweat. I think Montez Sweat's probably a little more athletic because he was running like a 4.5 in his combine. We'll see what he runs, but it's something very similar. And he's a big defensive end. You know who loves big defensive ends? Dennis Allen. So definitely could be a possibility. I would not be super upset with that move.
Yeah.
What about you?
And no, I love that one. I will say high floor, and I don't want to expand too much on the draft because I don't want to take away from our draft episodes that are coming up. Well, me and Fick, we're going to dig real deep into a lot of these prospects, and we're going to give you as much detailed. And then obviously we're going to have, I think, about 5-6 mock drafts episodes before the NFL draft to get you guys as much information and then give you our final projection and prediction on where the Bears go. Of course, you never know how the draft falls, but I'm excited about it. So I don't want to go too much into the draft, but and I love those picks.
Except this. I think we can agree. The first,
I will say I like that pick out of Oklahoma, that wide receiver, because the Bears, I think, need a speed guy. They need like a true young that can just kill you over the top. And I think that's a weapon that I'd love to see Ben Johnson have. Does it happen in the third? I don't know. But I want to say, great job, Eric. Great job on that mock off season. I love it. Check it out again. That article, sportsmockery.com, 2026 Bears offseason mock projection, and it's called Controlled Aggression. So shout out to him. I want to go quickly. 1 through 10. If this is how this played out, Vic, 1 through 10, how excited would you be?
7.
You remember you got the DJ Moore 7. Okay, give me you.
I forgot about the DJ Moore trade. 6.
That's what I'm saying. 6. So a 6. 6 out of 10 on that. Give me your reasoning.
So again, I don't like
why
the
you're
value
not as
back.
excited, because I think a 6 pretty low.
Yeah, I don't like the value back from DJ Moore. The Tremaine Edmonds cut, not necessarily the happiest about. I understand it, but it's not like I'm excited for that, because I still think the talent you're going to get back will not match what you're losing this season, right? Maybe 2 years, 100%. But this year, I don't think so. Trey Henderson, I do like. That's a good signing. That'll keep you excited. Cam Robinson stopgap, I'm okay with that. Draft was, Hoosier in there, so I guess I got to be excited about that. And I do like Christian Wilkins, Christian Wilkins? Christian Miller, my bad, the defensive tackle.
Miller.
So I do like that one. That's a good move. And then TJ Parker. So you go D-line on your first 2. I'm excited about that. So I think, the additions I like, the subtractions I do not. So losing DJ, losing Tremaine, not a fan of, but who you bring in, I do like. I just don't know if it significantly outweighs the losses.
Yeah.
But what about you?
Before I give my 1 out of 10, excitement level, again, shout out to Eric. Just because we're grading it lower doesn't mean it devalues
it's good work.
The effort and the work that he put into that, because I think it's phenomenal. I think we all have a different perspective. I think every fan has like routes they want the Bears to pursue, and if they don't, of course, that lowers that expectation level and that excitement, at least for a couple days, because then I can start talking myself into Trey Henderson,
sure,
instead of my Max Crosby. But I would say the Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byard, getting them back for those type of deals, for that amount of money, that value, would be insane. I think it would be great. Another thing, DJ Moore, I'm in the opposite camp here. I think getting a 4th for him and then offloading that the remaining money allows that added flexibility. And I kind of like it, because I want to see Luther. I want to see Colston. Like, we saw them become such dynamic weapons and prominent weapons, and they got a big increase in workload and snaps at the end of this year, including the playoffs. And we talked about the percentage of snaps, right? Luther at 34, Loveland at was it 60? Mm-hmm. I want to see these guys get even more. And if you offload a weapon like DJ, you're going to get that. You're going to get way more Now, of course, there's room for injury if something happens to Rome or something like that. So you're a little bit more thin. And we saw the injuries, right? If DJ wasn't here this year with Rome going down, it's interesting. You're relying heavily on some rookies, and who knows? Like I said, the rookie class balled out, is number 1 according to PFF as far as value, and they're the number 1 draft class from last year. So that's huge. Got to replicate that again in defense. And then Trey Hendrickson I think I'd be excited about that. I think it's a good 2-year answer. I'd like to still, again, go all defense in draft. I like that comment here on YouTube. So my overall excitement, I don't want to copy you, but I would say about a 6, maybe 6.5.
Yeah, you're probably like a smidge higher than me.
Moves. I would say I'm a little bit more positive on a DJ trade, but I would love to keep DJ. So I'm like in the mixed camp, but I just don't think you're realistically going to get anything higher than a 4th for him right now. So that's just my thinking. I'll stick with that 6.5 out of 10.
Sorry, no, I think that's good. I think, to sum it up, we don't hate the moves that were made. There's some we're like, maybe we could see both ways, and there's some that we like. So I think that's why it's a smidge above a 5, because a 5 would be split down the middle, obviously. So we're like, okay, I think it's more positive than negative, but there's definitely some big moves in there, like the Tremaine Edmonds cut and the DJ Moore trade. So, we'll see what happens. Normally with these mock off seasons, you might get one of those right. So who knows? Or it may not even be that. There's always a surprise move that happens and we're just shocked, like, huh? So I think that's what makes it fun. It's like the draft. People think they know what's going to happen. You give your best projection of what's going to happen based off the data that's available for you, like Eric did, which was it was a good breakdown. But in reality, we're not in those rooms. So we have no idea how they value and view these people and all the extra context and how it fits into their scheme, what they're thinking about money, where it needs to be allocated. So that's what makes it fun, though. There's like a game of chess, and you're trying to predict what the next 4 moves are going to be. And as you know, that's pretty hard to do, but that's what makes it fun. So,
yeah. Hey, another thing is we don't have any quarterback talk. That's pretty sick.
We'll take that. You know what? Bump it up. Bump it up 3 more points.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, if you look at our last few years, it's been quarterback's been the number one topic. It's dominated the shows.
Last
no
year
quarterback talk. We got our guy.
Last year was drafting.
Maybe 2.
No, last year was after a year. So never mind. Last year we didn't.
Last year was nothing. It was more about Ben and everything. And I thought there was no talk about moving on. Of course, before that, you had the
100%. Every year before that, it was
what to do with the pick. You keep Caleb. Yeah. So I'm not going to rehash that. So
no, it's a good point though. It's a good point. I totally forgot about that.
But hey, we appreciate everyone that's kind of tuned in today. A lot of y'all, almost 3,000 across all platforms. So if you can hit that like button on YouTube, subscribe if you want more of this content. Again, off season Bears filming. We're not going anywhere. And we still have a little bit here. Give our shout outs. And then we have a voicemail
too. Right? Yes, we do. Yeah, from one of our OG members. I decided to play. So this was after the game. So game was Sunday night. This would have been Monday, and this is from Kyler. So let's take a listen.
Okay.
Yo, what's good? This is Kyler. It's good, Dave and Ficky and Jack. This is the day after the Bears lost to the Rams, and it was just like to say the Bears had a great season, and Ben Johnson is our guy, Caleb is our guy, and we're going to be back next season and better and stronger. Bear down.
Love it. It's
I
always that
you send that one in.
Yeah, it's always that I don't want to use I have to use a term, but kind of like post nut clarity. Once like the dust has settled and you're like, oh, okay, the future's kind of looking bright. So appreciate that voicemail, Kyler. Also want to say this. If you ever want to leave a voicemail, just because the season's over does not mean that you don't have to give your opinions on anything we're talking about. If there's someone you want to, if there's a trade made, or if there's a trade you want to be made, or a free agent you want to pick up, anything about the draft, please leave a voicemail at speakpipe.com/the BFR podcast. We'll play them on all of our shows. So if you just want to call in and talk anything Bears, we got you. We'll play them on there. We like to still see them coming over the offseason because we like to see, how the fan base is feeling about certain players. Maybe there's a certain player that no one's talking about. Like, instead of Cam Robinson, maybe there's another left tackle that's had an ascending year that we feel like we should pick up. Stuff like that, please drop it in here because also it's good content for us to kind of talk about different situations and scenarios. So we really do appreciate those voicemails. That voicemail line is always open. You can call at any time. Okay. Thank you for the voicemail, Kyler. Let's go ahead. Breaking news. Mike McCarthy to the Steelers. Is that confirmed?
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. They said it wasn't in – Shefty said it wasn't to lure Aaron Rodgers back, but interesting move.
Yeah, it is funny, right? Because Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback, and that was who Mike.
Well, he's not. He's a free agent now.
Well, he was previously, and the talks were that he was. The talks were though that the Steelers didn't want him back. So now it's interesting that they hire the guy who had great seasons with them. Good stuff. I love.
But also, there's that hip piece too. I thought they didn't get along. Right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, near the end of his career.
I don't know if things have changed, but anyways,
who knows? It's Aaron Rodgers. Doesn't get along with anyone. But good stuff there. Let's go through our OGs real quick. Really do appreciate y'all sending them in. We got Thomas here, Thomas Whitty with the hashtag OG Bear Down. Appreciate that. And shout out for being our Patreon member. Another Patreon member, Gage, hashtag OG. If we draft defense like we did offense last draft, we're going to the Super Bowl. Yeah. If Poles does what he did last year, which is a hard task to do, this team's going to be freaking stacked. Let's see if we have any more in here. We do. We got RB Catcher in here with the hashtag OG. I feel like I'm getting rage baited at this point from Dave. From which one? I don't know which one that's about. So if you want to clarify on there, just let us know. Okay, let's go through these questions real quick, rapid fire. How you feel about Doyle and Harris getting interviews from other teams? It happens when you're good, your coaches get poached. It doesn't mean they're poached.
Leave my coaching staff alone.
It happens. But yes, I would love for him to stay. Also forgot this OG from Jerome from Darien, another Patreon member. Shout out to you. But Bears have to get some pass rush this offseason, either trade for Garrett or Crosby or invest early and often in the draft. Absolutely. From the Spiceman 66, we another OG. We need to draft young dogs on the edge and run stuffers. Totally agree. Let's see here. Then we got G-Rat on YouTube. How much would trading DJ and a couple picks for someone like Grady or Crosby affect things? Now, if you're doing a more player-for-player trade, I'll probably be a little bit happier about that because the value you get back is closer than just a draft pick, but I don't think that's a realistic trade. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Dave.
I think there's a possibility DJ could be in for a Crosby trade.
We would need some more
packaged.
picks. We would need some more picks tied to him, I think. It'd probably be like 2 picks and a player.
Oh, yeah, not a 1-for-1.
Yeah, for sure. Well, no, I'm saying it wouldn't be a 1. It wouldn't be a 1+1. It wouldn't be like a DJ a 4th
and a first
for Max. It had to be a
no.
first.
It's DJ a first and then probably a 4.
Yeah, that's all I was saying. Yeah, that's all I was saying.
A first is going to be in there no matter what.
100%. If not 2. Yeah, if not 2. I could even see 2 first DJ and Crosby.
Yeah,
I don't want to do it, but I could see it. Okay, but good stuff there. Let's see here. Here we go. G-Rod as well. If they move DJ, is there a world where Poles takes a wide receiver in the middle of the draft or just to find free agent for cheap? We talked about that. Eric Lambert had a mock of picking a wide receiver in the middle. And then we got AK here. Which of you guys are leaning towards in the first round? It's got to be defense, either defensive tackle or defensive line. AK here with if Ruben Bain or Caleb Downs were available, would each of you guys take? Also, it's Akio Uchaha. Hopefully I got that right. I have not watched Naruto, but I'm messing that up. So sorry about that. Don't clip me on that. Let me answer this. Neither of those players are going to be available when the Bears pick.
Bears have to trade up, dude.
Yeah, those are top.
Which I guess, but that could be another thing is like DJ and your first to move up a little bit. Again, this is where it gets interesting. We'll have to see what we can do here, but I'm excited to get creative in this offseason. So
yeah, for sure. Anything is on the table. We've seen the NFL does crazy stuff, so anything is possible, quoting Kevin Garnett, but you're not getting any of those players at 25. I can promise you that. All right, I think that's it, though. Thank you all for sending in the OGs and whatnot and the questions. It was a great episode talking about the mock offseason. Sucks that we're here, but it's exciting about a lot of the good draft content and free agency content that we're going to get to cook up here. So,
absolutely. We have a lot coming for you guys. Everyone that joined today, this morning, appreciate you guys. Follow us on all socials. Of course, you can follow Dave and Fick or me and Fick on our platforms. Check out the pod as well. I think we're almost at 20,000 on Twitter for our own podcast account. Is that right?
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. 19.8. It's crazy. So the sport's been unreal. Before you head out of here, hit that like button, subscribe. Super stoked for the off season. And we still have a lot of content coming. We have another episode next week. It's a special one. So tune in for that. Fick, anything else?
Also, yeah, totally forgot. You got to give 2 big announcements. Our final winner of our score prediction from last week, King Loman on Discord. Shout out to you. You got your $5 e-gift to the BFR store. So I hope you appreciate that. And then not last but least, or what's the saying? I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm butchering it. It's been a long show. But
without further ado,
thank you. That'll work. The Pick'em League winner of the year won a $50 gift card to our BFR store. This was for our Patreon members, which you have to shout out as well. But shout out to Michael from across the pond for winning this year's Pick'em League. He beat out, I think he was in first place, maybe a couple points, but shout out to you. Again, if you want to be cool like Michael, you can join the Patreon where we do a bunch of giveaways like this one, giving away free money to our store and all different types of merch and stuff like that. If you want to be cool like him, you can join the Patreon, link in the description. And like always, if you join the Patreon, you get a shout out on all of our shows. So let's go ahead and do that. Shout to our winner, like we talked about, Michael from across the pond, Gage, who was in the chat, Phil, Michael Berry, Angie, Ryan, Daniel Jones, Thomas, who's in the chat, Tito, Dave, Jerome, who's in the chat, and Chris. Thank you to our Hall of Fame Grizzlies. Y'all rock. And then we got to give love to our rookie Grizzlies as well. Alex, Chris, Ethan, Lee, Caleb, Jason, and Megan. Appreciate all of y'all.
Absolutely.
We really do appreciate everyone in the Patreon who holds down the den. So much love. All right,
Absolutely.
that is it.
Sports been unreal. You guys know that. Won't stay much more on it. We'll be back here next week. Fick, anything else before we head out?
No, that's it. If you want any final comments when we head out, make sure to get them in now, and we'll post them as the outro goes. So appreciate you guys hopping on here on this Saturday morning episode.
Absolutely. Stay warm. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and bear down.
Peace.